Hey, BTC fam, good afternoon. Every revolutionary innovation that we look at in the past has been, refrigerators, washers and dryers. It significantly decreased the amount of time it takes to wash your dishes, to wash your clothing, to basically now you just throw it in the machine, change the machine, fold it, put it away, right? Washers decrease the amount of time it takes to wash your clothing. People used to have to go to the river or to go to a tank and hand wash hundreds of pieces by hand. But anyways, refrigerator was revolutionary. The airplane was revolutionary. Fire for primitive humans, right? The wheel, telephones allowed us communication at the speed of light. Cellular phones now allow me to have 8 hours of battery powers, and I can make phone calls wherever I want in the world. It's unbelievable if you think about it. Nikola Tesla predicted all this. His books are very, his academic work, I don't know if he has a book, but it was very insightful. So basically, at the time, people thought he was crazy, because he said that we were going to be able to telepathically speak at the speed of light. He said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. He predicted the radio waves, the cellular phones, the telephones. But anyways, every innovation that is revolutionary takes the same amount of time to go from 0 to 10%. Let's say, the airplanes took 20 years to go from 0 to 10% worldwide adoption. And it literally, you can see this in any major innovation. You name the innovation, you can see it on them. Took 20 years to go from 0 to 10%. Took another 20 years to go from 10% to 90%. So that's the exponential growth you see with revolutionizing innovations. Bitcoin took 16 years to go from 0 to 6%. We're going to get a 10% real soon. And then the next 2 decades is completely explosive and exponential growth, just like you saw with the refrigerators, with gas stoves, electric stoves, microwaves, airplanes, motor vehicles. Any world revolutionizing innovation takes from the same amount of time to go from 0 to 10%. It takes the same amount of time to go from 10% to 90%. So the growth after a while, after a certain point, is exponential. That's what Bitcoiners are saying. We can see that exact pattern with Bitcoin. The number of wallets are growing. The number of transactions are growing. The hash rate, which is the computing power, it's growing. It's 2 years ago, it was like 600,000 exahashes. Now we're at 1.06 zeta hashes. So we went up another measuring unit, so we added ridiculous amounts of zeros. So that means that if we got all the computers on Earth, we'd have to multiply that by 5 to get to Bitcoin's hash rate. So even if you tried, you couldn't really do a 51% attack. Which is, if you look at it, it's maybe Bitcoin could be stopped in, 2010, 2011, maybe. But you have to find all nodes and you have to find all miners. That's impossible. It's in every geographical location on Earth. It's grown exponentially. So we are about almost at the 10% mark, if we haven't passed that. But now, after it reaches about 800 million people, we're at 500 million people. When it reaches 800 million, that's 10%. And then it'll be explosive to go from 10% to 90%, which is about 6.57 billion people using Bitcoin, and that, of course, you have to sum out all the senior citizens who wouldn't really be into it, and you got to also take into account the new generations who are all digitally native, meaning they're born, raised, educated, work, live, and play online. All of the relationships online, all of the commerce online. Go to your local mall. The stores are closing, right? Everything is done online. You push a button, the package comes to your house through a UPS driver or an Amazon driver, right? And of course, there are equivalents to Amazon, Alibaba, Mercado Livre in Brazil. It's grown exponentially. And you can see also all of the banks. They are all adopting Bitcoin. They're not only buying Bitcoin, but now they're custodying Bitcoin. And most importantly, you can now borrow fiat money with your Bitcoin as a collateral. So let's say in a La La Land pretend world, I have about 5 Bitcoins. I want to hodl 3 and borrow against 2. So the bank would give me the value of my 2 Bitcoins, which right now is about $160,000, right? They'll give me that money. I'm loaning it with an interest rate, and I have to pay it monthly, like a car payment, but it's a loan of money, right? And if I don't pay it, they take the Bitcoin as collateral. That is loaning against your asset, right? People do that with HELOCs in form of houses. People borrow against any assets. Like people complain how Elon Musk doesn't pay taxes. It's because he's borrowing against his stocks. So there's no taxes in borrowing money. Borrowing money is debt. It's printed out of thin air by the banksters. So this is why you're like, oh, why are they not paying taxes? Because they don't have an income, my love. They don't have income, my dear. You have to know the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Elon Musk is just a guy. He's just like you and me. He's just borrowing against his stocks, spending that money that is debt, right? And then he just pays little by little the loan he's taking against his stocks, right? It took a $60 billion loan to buy Twitter. He renamed it X, right? You should follow me there at Scavicini777. But now banks are giving loans against Bitcoin. That's thanks to President Donald J. Trump. It's a major innovation, guys. It's something now that a new bank in Brazil, for example, it's actually the biggest bank in South America. Itaú Bank, the largest bank in Brazil. Santander, based out of Spain, worldwide bank, buying Bitcoin. BlackRock, buying Bitcoin. Fidelity, Citigroup, buying Bitcoin. Schwab, buying Bitcoin. Everyone is buying Bitcoin, either through MicroStrategy or through Bitcoin ETFs issued by BlackRock or Fidelity. Every single corporation will have a Bitcoin. And remember, it's only 21 million forever, meaning the cap is 21 million. There's no more than that. So, and 3.44 million were already lost. So there's actually 16 million Bitcoins. And the last Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2140. In the year 2140 is when the last Satoshi, there are 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. So one Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million Satoshis, which makes Bitcoin perfect money. Scarce, portable, divisible, it has all the 6 characteristics of sound money, and it adds a 7th, which is immutable. Bitcoin is immutable. You can't change it at all unless you have consensus, right? Forks don't happen unless you have major consensus. But the beauty is that it's happening. It's going to take the same amount of time that it took to go from 0 to 10%. It will take the same amount of time to go from 10% to 90%. And then it's over. Bitcoin swallowed the globe. 6.57 billion people are using it. Remember, 3 billion people worldwide are unbanked, meaning they do not have access to a bank. They can't store their money. They can't transfer it. They can't send it. They can't receive it. Bitcoin is doing that. It's giving the third world, people who don't have banks, it's giving them accessibility to a banking system. They're going to be able to borrow. They're going to be able to live better. They're going to be able to work for real money, meaning when you work for Bitcoin, even though the banksters print it out of thin air, they print fiat. Their fiat trash is infinite. They've said it themselves. The banksters cartels said it themselves. There's an infinite amount of money in the Federal Reserve. We can print as much as we want, assuring the people as if that's something nice, When people have bank runs in America, there's the FDIC. They insure you up to $250,000, which by that admission, guys, they're saying, yes, fiat currency is infinite trash. It's akin to toilet paper. Actually, toilet paper valued more against fiat than, you look at the toilet paper back in the 1960s, I don't know, it would cost like 50 cents for an entire, package. Now it's like, what, $10 for a whole package, So the toilet paper valued more against the fiat currency. That's what I tell people. Your toilet paper, if you save in toilet paper, it'll be better for you. Because, it's funny, you shouldn't consider that, but unless you want to, but, some people save in silver, gold, which is great. I've always been a gold advocate. But then when Bitcoin came around, you know, again, all the new generations are born, raised, study, educate, you know, relationships, commerce, everything's done online, work's done online. You know, hospitals are all online. If, you know, the first thing to go down, the first thing that they fixed if they went down, it was electrical grid. Specifically because our lives depend on it, guys. So it's not going to go down. And even if the internet goes down, we have Starlink. It's surrounding the entire globe. There's always going to be radio waves. We can make Bitcoin transaction and radio waves, cellular data. There's always ways. So, and humanity is going to flourish. That's the Bitcoin is betting on humanity's flourishing, and that's why Bitcoiners love humanity. But yeah, it's going to go from 10%. It went from 0 to 10%. Now it's going to go from 10% to 90%, the same amount it took. So it took 16 years, 17 years for Bitcoin to go from 0 to 10. Now from 10 to 90%, it's going to take another 15, 16 years. Meanwhile, this explosive growth, because now, again, every bank in custody, every bank can save in Bitcoin, every bank can loan out money against Bitcoin. It's coming. It's here. It's literally here. Anyways, have a good afternoon, BTC fam. Love you all.